Look at everyone.
Welcome. I'm trying to see the time up there. I think it's 7:01, so we are going to go ahead and get started. We do have a few things to do ahead of time, so bear with us, and then we will move to our opening items, which have more exciting things. So thanks for being, it's exciting to have people actually in the room tonight.
Yes,
so
it really is.
Thanks for joining us, and I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Provenzano.
So the Board of Education has been entertaining the district-wide safety plan and code of conduct review process that happens every year. We review our district-wide safety plan and our district-wide code of conduct. It goes under a thorough review. It's been presented and shared, and there's a 30-minute window, 30-day period where we had an opportunity for the public or stakeholders or community members to comment. This is a formal public hearing at this point. Is if there's anyone in the audience here who wants to make a comment as we continue to revise district-wide safety plan, this is an opportunity to do that, and we will take that advisement and inform our district-wide safety plan once it is confirmed this fall. So if there is anyone here to talk about the district-wide safety plan or have comments about the district-wide safety plan, please feel free to come up and to the podium.
I know. I don't see any takers.
So at this time, district-wide safety plan comment period is closed, and we will continue to finalize that document and bring it forward this fall to the Board of Education before the start of the school year of 2025-26. The same process for our code of conduct. Every year it is under review. Group of administrators and other stakeholders review the code of conduct. It's been under review and part of a process with the Board of Education since April, and we are in a public comment period. If anyone has any thoughts about our code of conduct to inform our code of conduct, this would be a time to do so. So if there's anyone here to speak about the code of conduct, please feel free to come to the podium and do so. Usually when I say that, there's no one here, so,
Right, we know immediately that there's no one.
So the code of conduct, again, is under review. The public comment period is over, and final draft will be brought to the board on June 12th, so it could be in place for the 25-26 school year. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, and I know Brett just showed up on the screen. It is in the document today. If you're listening from home and you want to look at it, it is there as it was last time. So thank you.
There you go.
Okay, now I'm going to actually use my gavel. So now I'm officially going to call this meeting to order. It is 7:04. Before I move forward, just want to point out the fire exits in the back of the room, here and here, and then there's also one to my left. So if there is a fire, please be safe and exit efficiently. I need an approval, motion to approve the agenda for tonight. Lisa? Nicole? All in favor? Aye. 7-0. And up first, we do have a presentation, and we're going to honor students that have participated in through the student lens art student recognition. So I think we're going to pull up the document here.
Alyssa, are you coming up? Yep, to present, yeah. You can stand at the podium and see this little green button, or this button that makes it green. So, yeah. Push it.
Okay.
And then Mr. Exton is going to be getting the presentation up and loaded.
That's the whole presentation, right?
Yes, we have a whole presentation.
So should I just bring my colleagues up?
Absolutely. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know the. I apologize. I didn't know the flow. Yes, of course.
Christy Germano and Daniqua Belcher and Craig Sleeman.
Craig Sleeman's up there too.
You guys got the jean jacket.
Yes. We did not plan this at all.
It's our teacher uniform.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and Christopher.
We're surrounded by the jean jacket.
Mr. Sequoia, nice to see you. That's great.
He does have jeans, so.
I did that.
So we're here to recognize our student artists who participated in the Start Here show at RIT. Art teachers are given the opportunity to submit 2 pieces only, so they select 2 artists for that. So that's a very special recognition for those students that were selected. And then also we had a show at the Image City Photo Gallery downtown on University Avenue, and we had 10 student photographers, whose work was selected for that show. And that was the students submitted, and then we had a voting panel for the ones that were going to that show. Let me just, okay. All right, so here's our exhibition of the work. All right, we'd like to honor Jasper Weber for his colored pencil, A Light Lunch. I don't know if Jasper's here. He's not here, okay. All right, and we have Isabella Carlett for her graphite pencil drawing. Did I say that? Right here. And you guys can come down when we call your name. Just keep going? Okay. Right, and Sylvie Warnett for Armor and Adornment, which is an acrylic painting. And Sylvie is not here this evening.
It's worth it.
We have Isabel Weiner and her Enchanted Night, which she brought with her. It is a shadow box illustration, and she also won the School of Design Industrial Design Award. And Lisa Besh Turner for her painting Dragonfly. Lisa is Craig Sleeman's student.
Oh,
Beautiful.
good job, Lisa.
And congratulations to Hannah Chen for her Peace TV dinner. She's not here.
Do they even make TV dinners anymore?
Oh, they do. I think they do, yeah. And is it, do you want to say it?
Oh, this is Leah Newberg's. You can't have your cake and eat it too. This was a clay piece that she did. Oh, Leah's here.
Looks good now.
Yeah,
Yes,
come on down.
absolutely.
We have something for
It's
you.
hard to carry a sculpture, so.
Oh,
Great job.
thank you.
Okay. And go ahead. Do you want to say anything?
Ryan Roberts also won the School of Art Dimensional Illustration Award at RIT. All right, Mackenzie McCall, Christmas surprise. A Santa teapot and ornament cups. Again, hard to bring the ceramics, so.
Yeah. Nice touch.
Addison Rolfus. Oh, I hope I said that right. It's Sister Portrait. She's in 6th grade also. I don't think she is here tonight. Okay, Lucas Wilkins. He's also 6th grade. Lemonade. He worked a month on this. He is also not here tonight.
Okay. And then we're going to honor our Image City photography students. This is an annual show that happens every year, and the students have an opportunity to not only have their pieces on display, but also for sale. So they have an opportunity to earn commission and exhibit in a gallery for the first time too. So this one is won by Kevin Payment, and this is Worn Out Memories. Don't think Kevin's here tonight. And Haley Jaskowitz, did I say that right? Inspiration Point, Letchworth Park. And I believe Haley got up very early at like 4 in the morning to drive there to capture this shot. Ethan Torres for his piece Dirty Laundry. This is a cool piece. Second one by Kevin Payman was selected. This is called Translucence. And Chris McGrath went out and captured the Northern Lights up on Lake Ontario. I think this is Gloria as well. That was a very nice piece. And Veronica Danielak. This is Love Lies Bleeding, which is actually the name of the plant, which I did not know. So, beautiful plant. That's very nice. Ashley Jordan. Her portrait of Adeline Phillips at not Artisan Works, right? Citizen, called Sitting Pretty. Nice. And Jillian Lamb, congratulations. This is Muir Woods. That's is it in California? Yes. Congratulations. And Ethan's second piece was City Lights.
Ethan!
Woo!
What a way to represent, Ethan, yes. Yeah, buddy.
Impressive Instagram account. Okay. And this was the poster that you may have seen out about that has the 10. Oh, did I miss Ray? I missed your slide, Ray, but I see you here. I'm so sorry. Ray Stats, do you want to bring up your piece? Yay, Ray. What was it? And the title was Brass Melody. Congratulations. My apologies. So we just wanted to thank the teachers that submitted, and also thank you, our Board of Education, for all the support that we get for our programs. Thank you. Sure. Okay. They want to get a group picture.
Here you go.
Come on down.
Good job. Well done.
Thanks
Oh, we
for
had an
coming.
audience.
I know. They've left us now.
Hey, Adam.
It looks like you got a haircut. I didn't recognize you. Oh, I didn't know that.
Strong.
So before we move on to our next item on the agenda, we actually do have something for the board members. We are members of not only the Monroe County School Board Association, but also the New York State School Board Association. And we were given some nifty certificates for professional development. So we did just want to give these to everybody tonight. And thank you for your commitment and ongoing professional development that we do all the time here as members of the board. So thank you.
Do we get to shake your hand?
No, but I
We
will
can
walk.
hold up like our completed.
Get a
But I
picture.
will walk around.
That doesn't feel as exciting.
Yes. So thank you. For your
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
They're counting our points, apparently.
Thank you.
Well, you got 150 points, so.
Erica,
Photo?
this is for you.
Oh, yeah. So thank you. So yeah, a lot of our professional development is through the Monroe County School Board Association, but we do get to attend the conference and other things that help us get professional development. So thanks, team, for all of your support.
And thanks to NISBA, they tend to offer very relevant, like I know I just did one on policies that was about like cell phones and the heat in classrooms, new laws and stuff. So they're always keeping us on the money of what's coming.
Okay, so up next, we will have our public comments. So just as a reminder, when you're speaking, we do have some folks with us today, too. So I'll call your name and have you come up to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to speak, so we'll give you we're starting the timer, and then I'll give you a warning when there's 30 seconds left. So then you'll complete, and then I'll call the next person. So just as a reminder, we tell everybody who comes to public comment to not use specific names of folks, staff here, and try to be positive. Please don't yell or shout at us, which I don't see happening, but just there is a policy right up here for public comment, so you can take a look. So up first, we have Lindsay Legg.
Just make sure it's green up there.
And whenever you're ready, you can let us know and we'll start the time.
Okay, I'm ready. Hello, my name is Lindsay Lecce, and I'm here today with my fellow classmate Eloise Barney. To begin, we want to say thank you for this opportunity to speak to the board today, and we want to thank our teachers for helping us to further the process of an idea that Eloise and I came up with in the back of our anatomy class during the first semester of this school year. We are speaking today to request that FHS consider adding an additional Anatomy and Physiology of Sports course that would be offered to students who want to get a deeper understanding of anatomy and physiology. The papers that we will distribute to you all are a formal letter of our ideas and a slideshow presentation with data and statistics. Anatomy and Physiology of Sports would be a great addition to the current half-year course offered here at FHS. Increased time spent on material, further representation of the science department, and opportunities of health science professions are all factors that go into the need for a second Anatomy and Physiology class. As a half-year course, the current Anatomy and Physiology curriculum consists of 7 units, but leaves out 6 key units due to the holiday breaks and days off. Not only does it leave out 6 crucial units of material, the lack of time given limits the amount of instruction from weeks to only a couple of days. We feel that in order to make the most of this course, it deserves more time to learn in order for students to gain a deeper understanding. Anatomy and Physiology of Sports 2 would dive deeper into the other 6 major systems of the body that are listed in the slideshow that we prepared for you on page 7. A key proponent in our efforts also comes from the comparison of FHS's science department to the neighboring district's course offerings. For example, both Pittsford Sutherland and Pittsford Mendon offer 2 separate semester courses of anatomy and physiology, and Penfield High School offers a full year of anatomy and physiology. Since other schools have the ability for further instruction of anatomy, we believe that FHS would have enough interest as well and would benefit highly from students wanting to pursue health science professions. Now I will give it off to Eloise, where she will talk about the logistics and statistics of our costs. Thank you.
Thank you. And I should have mentioned that when we have public comment, it's a time for the board to listen, so just don't feel offended that we're not talking back to you, that's all.
Thank you.
And Eloise, I'm going to go ahead and call you up, okay? So Eloise Barney is up next. And whenever you're ready, and just make sure you press the button so it's green.
Hi, my name is Eloise Barney, and I'm going to be talking about the statistics and the student interest in this course. Here at FHS, we have noticed a lack of science electives when compared to other departments such as English, technology, and art. We have made a pie graph on page 6 of your slideshow to display the comparison of electives at FHS. Not including APs, SUPAs, or any classes required for graduation, we have concluded that 7.6% of electives at FHS belong to the science department. We have no intention of undermining the departments at FHS, but we do feel that when compared to other departments with more electives, the science department is underrepresented. We know that one concern with the new course is interest in whether or not a course will have enough students to run. However, after pulling data from the Fairport Decisions Instagram accounts from the last 4 years, we have concluded that an average of 22% of the students who posted their decision pursued and majored in a career in health sciences. Given this data, we feel that it is clear that the 7.6 representation of science electives in the course offering guide is not adequate to the academic pursuits of our students. On pages 8 and 9 of the slideshow, we have testimonies from former A&P students explaining their personal desire to see a course like this added. They display how they would like to have a deeper understanding of the material and how having a longer period of instruction would have helped them. Additionally, they felt that this course would better serve students interested in studying health science in their next academic endeavors. Also, as seen on page 11, we formed an informal petition to add to this course, and that petition has over 50 signatures. In all, we feel that the interest in this content and field is strong enough to warrant adding the course to the curriculum. We feel as though the health science profession is one of the most important in our society, and here at FHS, we could make a difference by increasing the opportunity for our students to become involved in the world of health sciences. Having a better understanding of anatomy and physiology going from high school to college will propel students further and increase success in their experience in the medical field in the future. We understand that the process of adding courses to the selection is long and that as juniors today we would not be able to enjoy this course at FHS. However, we strongly believe implementing this course will help FHS science students for years to come. Although this step may be small,
your 30 seconds.
we believe that this kind of change will create a ripple effect of further interest and involvement in health sciences and the future of medicine. Thank you for your consideration and opportunity to speak, and we hope that we can make this positive addition to FHS a reality. Thank you again.
Thank you. And I know that you both emailed me already, and I'm hoping that you'll be connected with, I think Mr. Provenzano already reached out to you and a few other folks.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to give this to our directors of math, science, technology, and I see Dr. Wilson over there. Say hello to her. And we'll wrap you up with Mr. Clark, and we want to sit down and learn more and process with you so we could, develop your ideas and see how they fit into our bigger process. So thank you. Your voice is very important to us.
Thank you for taking the time to come tonight, guys.
and you're welcome to stay for the rest.
But we understand.
We understand.
Why are you laughing?
So we are going to move on. Our student advisor is not here. So
They just advised us.
they gave us information, which was lovely. Yep. And I am up next. So up next is the president's report. So I just want to begin by really thanking the Fairport Central School District community for coming out to vote last Tuesday. We are pleased to share that the 2025-26 school budget was approved by our residents by a strong 70% passing rate. So we were very excited of that. So thank you to those that came out and voted. We're deeply grateful for your continued support. As many of you know from our recent meetings, the process of developing the school budget begins in the fall and involves many months of thoughtful planning and discussion. What is less visible but equally important is the extensive behind-the-scenes coordination that goes into ensuring a smooth voting day. So we would like to just give some special thanks out to Sarah Driscoll and Lindsay Reddick for their dedication and hard work in organizing months prior to the event and executing the logistics on the day of the vote. Their time and energy and attention to detail played a crucial role in making the day a success. We also appreciate the efforts of the poll workers who helped sign voters in, whether it was on iPads or on paper. As with any new technology, the rollout of the updated check-in process brought a few unexpected challenges. Fairport was not alone. Several districts across the county using the same system encountered similar technical issues. We are especially grateful to Sarah for her quick thinking and adaptability in navigating the road to ensure every eligible voter had the opportunity to cast their ballot. So she was running between different buildings and made sure that things went smoothly. So thank you again. So just again, thank you for all your support and commitment to our school and students. We look forward to next steps, and we do have a number of exciting things coming up at the end of the year with our groundbreaking on many capital improvement projects. So I'm sure you probably have already seen stuff, and we'll see more. And
June 3rd.
June 3rd, yep. I wasn't sure if it was in your update, so.
Oh, no.
No. Okay, so I'm going to pass it on to Superintendent Provenzano.
So I'm coming up here, I'm delaying the transition to the slideshow, and as I'm, singing and dancing here. Tony should be getting that up. So it's exciting as this is occurring. Right now, we saw wonderful students with their art exhibit, right? Celebrating their great accomplishments. Right? What's that? But either way, and we have teams competing tonight in sectionals this week and to the weekend, representing Fairport in great ways. So it all takes all of us working together. That's right, Tony, that's superintendent's report? The link's not working? It always works. Just gotta press it. It keeps going MTS. Oh.
It's in the board presentations folder.
I could do a tap dance. I do have to say thank you to our community too. 70% of our community voted for this budget. We're going to start with a video. Bottom one, superintendent's report. There it is. AI. Okay. Hit play, Tony. There we go. Budget allows us to do all the great things that we experience here tonight and throughout the year. And this is what the numbers look like. 1,918 voters voted yes, and there were 820 no's. We really want to get at those no's too, and we want to see our numbers continue to increase. More people come out. Board of Education, congratulations to Jan Fortuna and Dr. Brian Moritz for coming back in the next 3 years and retaining your seats. And authorization to appropriate and expend from the capital bus purchase reserve also passed. And again, that speaks to our community's interest and investment in making sure we have safe transportation, reliable, consistent transportation for our students. And again, we reach out, and we know it's not a great sample size. And the people that do fill it out are people that appreciate what we're doing and want to give us positive feedback and reinforcement. These are some pieces of information from the survey. Again, we really wanted more people to take it. We continue to try to put it out and encourage people to do so. This is our sample size with many people getting information, and this holds true from larger surveys that we've done. People appreciate district mailings. They appreciate the commentator. They appreciate our Parent Square updates. They go to our social media site to get facts. And these are consistently holding true in any survey that we do when we talk about communication and the word of mouth conversations with fellow residents and the feeling tone of our district really makes a difference at 38%. Again, on the small sample size, but these are consistent data points. Again, factors that influence people's decision to support or not support the proposed budget. People are interested to know, and this is a point that we cover when we do our under the hood, what's the actual cost of going to Fairport? Why do we continue to have increasing budgets when we have declining enrollments? Good questions that we will continue to try to get at throughout the year. Again, we make special presentations and accommodations to ask questions like these. We want people to be a part of the Under Hood series, which we'll be talking about more in the upcoming school year. Public education, we have a lot of people who believe in our Fairport story, who believe in public education. People felt that it was logical and made sense, and it reflected our values as a community. Bless you. And we want to continue to celebrate our students. I love seeing our boardrooms filled with students who give us wonderful advice on programming to celebrating the arts and all the great things we do in our community. And we're proud to be a part of that. Moving on from the budget, and I think Erica said it best, we're always talking about budget. We're going to continue to be talking about budget early and often because it's something that is important to the board that we get it right. We also need to get our consolidation right. And one piece that we continually have been doing is updates on the pillars. And we're preparing for the leadership retreat That's with our administrators, looking at all the nuances and questions, making sure that they're comfortable to operationalize it. Our retreat that we have this summer, which is July 15th, 16th, and 17th, a good portion of that will be on consolidation. Planning for that is happening, highly intentional. HR, personnel and staffing, continuing to have analysis across bargaining units. Continuing to work with our partners who we have contractual obligations through an MOU, the Fairport Educators Association. They're preparing a report that will come to myself and to Board President Susan Casement. We will be processing that report. Then I will be making recommendations to the board in the fall. But work on that continues. Transition team meeting, the focus on that transition team meeting, like how are we going to be celebrating Minerva Land? How are we going to appropriate add closure to celebrate the great legacy and great memories of that amazing school community when it comes to community engagement and a communication plan. That was the focus this past month. Facilities use, there's a construction project that's occurring. Erica said June 3rd, we're going to be doing some groundbreaking. I'm looking forward to having some teams and students do the groundbreaking. Board members will be there, past board members will be there. We're looking forward to kicking off the CIP that will be a part of Fairport High School for the next year and a half, 2 years. That takes planning and organization around it. So when our students come in 26, 27, we're ready to go and give them a high quality, state-of-the-art facility with all the great things that we're doing. And then future use of Minerva Land and Balmer Place. We're finalizing the details of our partnership with the use of Minerva Land. A portion of Minerva Land will be partnering with BOCES. We'll be bringing a program to Minerva Land, and again, that takes a lot of organizing and planning, and we're in the beginning stages of that. One thing that I want to talk about is the school start time shift. We continue to analyze the busing schedule, and we'll be reporting on that in the future. You started kicking it off. Next month is going to be a month of celebrations. Talk about the memories, talk about the community's expectations, some fun runs to award ceremonies, to the grad walk, which is a powerful moment for our seniors and all of our school members who get to see and go back to their schools and walk the halls. Raiderpalooza, the memories will just continue to be abound, and I'm honored and humbled to be a small part of it and seeing all the fun. But we will have a board meeting before the graduation too, so we'll be celebrating the things that we're celebrating in Fairport schools. I'm going to hold off on the next part when we get to the board discussion and we talk about the 2020-25 CIP. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so now board member committee reports. Does anyone want to kick us off?
I'll go with a legislative update. Since our last meeting, the state budget passed, finally. I won't rehash a lot of the stuff. It's been a while, but lots of good stuff. Legislatively, I think one of the big things, obviously, the ban on smartphone use, student smartphone use, which we're going to be talking about in a few minutes, as part of the budget. Also, everyone's favorite topic, the zero emission bus mandate. The budget, one part of it was districts can ask for 2 24-month extensions, so effectively putting it out for 4 more years, which is good given the challenges we all face. There are also 2 bills that are in both the Assembly and the Senate, working their way through committees about the bus transition, including one hoping to modify the timeline from a uniform one to based on each individual district's feasibility timeline. And I know we did that a year ago at some point. So again, something that we're advocating for NISBA and Monroe County School Boards, just that kind of, this can't be one size fits all. We need to do it with what works for each district. So continuing to advocate for that. Also, there's a bill that would allow for the reorg meeting to happen extended out, push it later into July, which just give, I think, boards a little more flexibility in planning around summer vacations and trying to schedule in the summer. Not a huge deal in the grand scheme of things, but might make life easier for some of us. And then that's really it legislatively, just kind of regrouping after a frustratingly long but successful budget season with some of the wins we got, and hoping to maintain those and keep going into the future.
And then Brian, also, I think some of us are going to be meeting with the regents.
Yes. So we have our last bonus meeting of our MCSBA Legislative Committee. Eric and I will be that. We usually don't meet in June, but Regents Hale and Norwood are coming back. We had a very lively meeting with them a few months ago, and especially with all the stuff happening at the federal level and a lot of the changes, stuff they're hearing from state ed, and just kind of continuing the conversation with the local district. So we'll report back on that in June.
Thanks, Brian. Anyone else?
Myself, Erica, Rich attended the transition committee. I know Superintendent Provenzano talked a little bit about it. It was outstanding as usual. It was just great discussion, great energy. I know a lot of the commonly asked questions have been created into a very thorough guiding FAQ document that the district has then provided to the different union representations. So as questions emerge and conversations emerge, the unions are empowered to have those conversations for further. So it's great that those questions are out there and the answers are out there and support is out there. And then we spent the majority of the meeting talking about kind of celebrating Minerva and saying goodbye to that chapter of Minerva and welcome to the new chapter of Minerva. You could tell this subcommittee had given due diligence to this planning, the respectful ways to have the closure. A big shout out to Labella because they are going to sponsor 2 of the events for Minerva so that sorry?
Campus and Lavella.
Campus and Labella. Oh my gosh. No, I appreciate it. I want to thank anybody who will support our schools. They always do a staff dinner, so they're going to do that as per usual at the end of next year, but they also want to have a community come by, work with the Perriton Historical Society to have exhibits out to, say the goodbyes. And I heard a rumor there might be t-shirts. We're not a big t-shirt district, so I know it'll be strange, but so yeah, huge thanks to that subcommittee because it sounds like they're doing amazing things.
Anyone?
And we went to JA. We had our board visit to JA, and it was awesome. I did. Yeah. Didn't know if anybody wanted to jump in, but we.
I think we have 6 of the future student board representatives that came and spoke to us at the panel. They were just absolutely outstanding and insightful, and I just really appreciate their time and their teachers letting them have that time to come talk to us.
Are we good? Okay. So up next, our treasurer and investment update.
All right. So you can see beginning cash balance for your March is $86.6 million and ending is 97.9, almost 100 million. So one of the big things in March is it's one of our biggest months in regards to state aid. So we get our spring advancement, our end of year payment, also a little other aids in there as well. So you can see almost $21 million in state aid. That will get us through to the end of the year. So again, it's understanding our cash flow, making sure that we have enough to pay our bills. And you can see in our disbursements, it's just your normal average month. We have accounts payable, we have our BOCES, and we have our payroll, obviously. So at the bottom there, you can see how our money is invested between T-bills, sweep accounts, and then our generic money market accounts. So does anybody have any questions? Awesome.
And I always remind people, if you're listening at home or afterwards, this is lower down in our agenda if you want to look at those documents. Okay, so up next, discussion items. So I need a motion. I need a motion that the board approves the attached field trip request.
So moved.
Mary Caitlin, Brian, any discussions? Again, thankful for the timeliness of folks getting that information into Sarah, so thank you. All in favor? Aye, 7-0. Need a motion that the Board of Education approve the attached 2025 summer curriculum writing. Lisa? Nicole? Discussion? I know that we've had workshop presentations and updates on this as well, so it's nice knowing what people are going to be working on over the summer. So again, thanks for all the updates on that. All in favor? Aye. 7-0. I need a motion that the Board of Education approves the first reading of the following policies: 5574, 6120, 6411, 7680, 8271, and 8272.
So moved.
Mary Caitlin, Brian,
Continuing on our policy journey, you'll notice some of these are very technology-based, and they were a touch outdated.
I learned that electronic mail or email is a valuable tool for business communication.
So they are updated, and I just really want to,
oh, that's
The
what
World
I was-
Wide
the
Web.
World Wide Web, that's what I was
also
trying to
known as the
remember.
internet. I just really appreciate, in particular, Tom and your team and Tanya, and getting these much more updated and much more all-encompassing. I know, back in the day, like there was one email provider. Now we're talking about all these different aspects of it, so it's much more comprehensive. So thank you for your work.
Chain letters.
Yes.
Aye, 7-0. Okay, I need a motion that the Board of Education approves the second reading of the policies listed below.
So moved.
Brian? Lisa? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 7-0. Okay, up next, I think is where, Brett, you were gonna
Yeah.
Jump
kick
back.
back in.
Yeah, we're gonna have a discussion.
Yep.
I'm gonna start with an opportunity. This is the board's discussion, and these are just prompts, so at any point in time, by all means, please, feel free to interrupt, and Tony will start the slideshow right there. And this is on the 2020-25 CIP, which we're anticipating, this fall, September 30th. It was a great process, and one of the things that I really get excited about is when people are involved in the process, whether we're talking about our school improvement initiatives and the school improvement team and all the great collaborators were a part of that process. It was the same thing for this process. The KI facilities team started, and they really helped inform the decisions that were made around the project this past summer. And there were very strict parameters that we were working under, and that's because of the board's clarity. It needed to be at no additional tax levy to the taxpayers, best use of district capital reserves, and the best use of our maximum cost allowances. That pretty much means drawing as much aid as possible. And the team, as I showed in the previous slide, did a great job addressing building condition survey items relative to health and safety, critical infrastructure, and the useful life of building systems, creating a projects of must-haves. It's not always flashy, but it's important for the functioning of our schools. And updated designated classrooms and toilet rooms, large group instructional areas, assembly areas, variations with air conditioning spaces to accommodate the mandate that's across New York State from the governor on cooled air spaces. So this project, in my recommendation, and in my opinion, was responsible use of taxpayer investments in our district, transferring outdated spaces in our elementary and middle schools, maximizing the efficiency, operations, useful life, and versatility of our kindergarten through 8th grade facilities. And we've spent a lot of time talking about it. We talked about the project totaling $73.5 million, using capital reserves to offset the cost of the community, so there'll be no additional tax burden to the community, at a building aid ratio of 75.4%. And again, that's 96.63% of the project will be aidable, again, maximizing and lessening the tax impact. So these were the dollar amounts that we talked about in February. And I just wanted to make sure that the board felt comfortable with that as we move forward into the next part of this process, which I'll talk about. So I'll leave that up for the board's discussion, because many of you were part of the process. So.
And I can just reiterate that what Brett was saying. The process was, I think, in depth. I think many stakeholders were involved and able to give feedback, and kind of were able to walk through the parameters of what we're actually looking at in terms of dollar amounts and how much it costs to make upgrades. And I think new toilet rooms are flashy. That's exciting. Yes, especially if you're in the building. So
I'm in full support. I really appreciate that we were able to keep it at no additional tax levy for taxpayers. I appreciate the attention for our K-8, well, actually UPK to 8, because we have some of them in those buildings. I am always disappointed when you see a number like 73.5 million and then you see what it actually gets you in terms of the scope of work. You feel like that should build 4 new buildings. Gosh, that's so much money, but it really doesn't get you what you'd think it would, but it's going to get a lot of awesome things. So I'm appreciative and excited.
I agree. And to reiterate, there's a lot of good stuff that's going to happen with $73.5 million. And, you know, being in the, touring the buildings and seeing some of the spaces when we were at JA and seeing some of the spaces that they do great things in there, but the upgrades that can happen for, especially for bathrooms and
Kitchen.
the kitchen and the cafeteria, whatever they call it, but those large spaces that can be air conditioned for the governor's mandate, but also just this is the place where families come. This is the place like a point of entry for our community to see and to just be able to give these buildings some love after giving the love that was needed to the high school and the love that was needed to the other buildings. I think is really great to see and really great that they get their chance now. They get their turn now.
I just appreciate being able to be part of the process, or just not really be in it, but be able to watch it as it happens in those meetings. It was really great to see the staff actually be able to give input and over multiple iterations of the project, so that we know that it's what the users want as well as what the building condition survey said that we needed. And I was just continuously impressed with the staff and how they just determine their priorities. Just conversations like, well, you know, really the staff bathrooms are in the worst shape, but we want what's going to be helping our students, and we want to renovate the spaces that are going to touch the most students day to day. And I just heard that over and over again, and I just think it speaks to the culture in Fairport and what their priorities were. So I appreciated being able to see that. Thanks for inviting us to be a part of it.
So this is where we've been. It's May 27th, and we started July 24th, and I can't believe we're here, right? And you know, there was times when we were focused on it with high intention, and then budget came, and we had to move away from it. And I appreciate the behind-the-scenes work from the team. Lindsay Redding's been instrumental in helping organize and keeping us on task. Jeremy's been doing a lot of studying up, and he's really connected to the project as well, along with the great work that Matt Stevens has done. And of course, like Mrs. Christensen said, the teams were just inspiring. They had passion around it, and we're excited to move it forward. We'll be talking more about the details in the future, and you can see the next steps. Public information campaign. I'm going to really be communicating what's occurring in each of our buildings. Anticipated adoption of seeker and determination of the proposition. We need to get that confirmed by July 1st. And then in August, ongoing public information campaign and building events. Think about our schools. We'll be getting information out when families come the first weeks of school, getting consistent messaging out. And then September 30th, I recommend that we have a referendum vote on CIP 2025. Yep. So with the board's permission and to move forward, I'll be doing that. So I'm getting a sense that we agree on that. So even though we're not formally voting on that, there's nothing to formally vote, but again, appreciate the opportunity to engage in the process. It's thorough, and I appreciate our users like Aaron Smith and the Labella and campus team who put in a little extra work so we can make sure we get stakeholder buy-in.
It'll help in the long run.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So another discussion item we had on here for tonight was the governor's cell phone in schools order. We did attach some information here as well.
So if you go down to G, Tony, and you go into the administrative content, hit the Fcsd recommended policy, the second bullet there. So this is a policy that I asked our council to draw up, and we're really ahead of the game because many people are seeking this same policy, so it's being put to good use. So these are the rules that will govern the board's recommended.
So this is still going to come to the policy committee meeting on June 13th, so we don't need to wordsmith and kind of dive through it. But I think the thought was to bring it tonight because it's so new and there's a lot of feelings.
Yeah. Feelings. So from the policy, the board will have this policy adopted by August. That's what the governor's saying that we have to do. But in the meantime, we're going to be meeting together as an administrative team. What's it actually going to look like? Really interested to get the board's thoughts as well, relative to the policy. So when we regulate it, it's to the board's expectations.
So my first thought then is to piggyback off that, what does that look like when you say you're bringing it back to the team? So we've heard extensively about the successful work that's been happening 9 through 12 with cell phone policy and rollout and buy-in, and it's been very strong. So what is this looking like for you to take this huge change back to the stakeholders?
So I really feel good about where we are as a community because we had a process last year, particularly in the 6 through 12, 9 through 12 arena, where we had parents involved, students involved, Board of Education members were involved. And so I felt like we had a good handle on this. Now we're making a really strict policy, no cell phones in school. So that means when you're transitioning in the hallways, that means when you're in the cafeteria, when you're in the classroom, there are special considerations, and those considerations are outlined. But in essence, right now, if you go to Fairport High School, kids will be using that time to decompress, right? According to the policy or the law, that can't happen, right? No cell phones in schools. Now, is that a loose interpretation, right? If it's given permission by the principal, who is the master teacher, who's allowed to allow that, those are things that we need to look at as a school community, right? And I didn't make that up.
No, I know.
So,
No, it's, yeah.
So just a few thoughts, I guess maybe kick
That's what I'm looking
us
for, yeah.
going here. I appreciate the work that the district did, especially at the 612 and the 912 in the past year and previously to do this, because when you read our policy, the new policy, and you read the legislation, we have a lot of this in place, or a lot of the spirit of it is in place. Because I'm going to just make sure that that it is mostly a smartphone thing, not a cell phone. Under the governor's laws, a flip phone is allowed. So being intentional with our language and making sure it's internet. The legislation is internet connected phones.
Right.
So they're specific to internet connected personal devices. So no, the razor does not count. Yeah, you can bring that back. And also, when you say no phones in school, no phone use in school, kids will be allowed to have them. They just need to be stored in their backpack in a thing. Just making sure, in a locker. Just making sure when we say no cell phone, so it's no cell phone use during the school day.
they're supposed to not be on their person.
Yeah.
By the letter of the rule, by the letter of the law.
I didn't think so. I think it was just that their policy had to have there had to be storage rules in place. But that can be a bag.
In lockers, designated classroom holders, or personal bags for the duration of the day, as directed by school staff.
Right. I'm just making sure people know, making sure it's clear. It is the air quotes thing that has always been is bell to bell. So you can have it when you get to school. You can have it after school. It's not a ban that you cannot allowed to have cell phones, smartphones in school. You cannot use them during the day. I just want to make sure we're precise in our language as we're talking about it, so that when this gets out and we start talking about the implementation of it in August and September, it's probably closer to me. But I just want to make sure that there's not that confusion of what is and what isn't allowed by that. But like I said, I appreciate the work that we've done on this. I do think we're ahead of a lot of districts in implementing this and in fine tuning this. One other thing, then I promise I will stop talking about this today, is the idea of enforcement. And I know that's going to get into the regulation in our conversations. One thing that was specific to the legislation from the governor is that students cannot be suspended solely for violations of the smartphone policy. I think that is part of it. So you can't. And again, trying to make sure that punishments and anything like that is equally and fairly put out. And just one thing I love about what we've done is, I think, and this speaks to Nate Reuter, something he always says, is keeping in mind the why of this. This is not to punish kids for having a phone in school. It is supposed to be mental health improvement, keeping them engaged in classroom, engaged with each other, engaged with their teachers, and kind of centering. As long as we keep that, this is something we've done, but keeping that at the center, and not this exists to punish kids. I think we're going to be. I like the work that we're doing on this.
So I struggle with that. So I think we had such strong buy-in because the students understood we were saying in academic classrooms, we need your focus on academics. I personally don't understand the lunchroom, the study hall. I like music. It quiets my brain. Like, so when I need to do stuff, it helps me. And so I know that about me as a learner. So I do struggle with that. And I also really struggle with, we're now putting our teachers, our centuries, our cafeteria staff, our everybody in a potential power struggle because they're now going to have to be enforcing this thing that previously there was buy-in across the board. Okay, you want me focused in content areas? I'm going to focus in content areas. I'm in lunch. I had a really crappy morning. I just want to listen to my music. And now we have to have that power struggle battle. And I think it's setting up everybody for a loss. Like, this isn't a win. I think it's something that the governor decided would be a win for her. I, in particular, think a lot more power should have been given to local districts to define what this looked like for them, because I do not want our teachers and I do not want our kids to have to be in that combative mode over something that they're already doing mostly well. So I am struggling with this because I just don't know how. We swear an oath to the Constitution. We have to uphold this law. I get that. I ethically and in my soul don't agree though. So
Really quick, just to bounce off of that, Nicole, sorry, but that is why we advocated so fiercely from NISBA and Monroe County School Board for that local control, that districts make their own rules and their own things. Unfortunately, we advocated our hearts out. It did not work, and you guys know, I dittoed everything MC said from my own vantage point.
I was just going to back you up and say I'm thinking of our neurodiverse students who expend so much energy during the day peopling with other students. That takes a lot out of them, and they really could use that sort of downtime during lunch or study halls to, like, just like you said, decompress and not people for a while. And I think forcing them to turn off a device and people makes it a little more stressful for them for the day. I don't know if you can write in then in an IEP or 504.
Yeah. But they didn't pass this budget until a week ago, and a lot of our CSEs have already happened for next year. So now you just put this whole extra added burden for us to get a kid what they need to be successful.
Yep, I agree.
For the kid who has the paperwork. This isn't even encompassing all of the kids. Sorry.
I'm going to stay positive that we will figure out a way to be proactive yet stay within the policy.
What does the state enforcement side of things look like?
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
So like we're not going to have like state auditors wander around the
There is no
lunchroom.
enforcement mechanism.
You're
Okay.
sounding a
I
lot
mean,
like
just-
me with the EV buses.
I mean, just as far as like, knowing that our staff has been able to be compassionate and reasonable with students, it sounds like there's still room for that to happen. I guess, trying to say that diplomatically.
So there is no regulatory,
Just that we have the policy.
So we have the
And of
policy.
course, we, like MC was saying, like the spirit and the why is what we're interested in, really supporting our students' ability to connect with others and have productive learning environments and all that, also knowing that there are.
So right now we
Let's do that.
do have guidelines, and nothing will change. If it's not supposed to be out right now in class, there's a scaffold approach to managing that. But then the power struggle comes, and that's where it could that's where the tension lies, I believe. So that's what we're going to be meeting as an administrative team to process this with legal counsel, asking about what's the bandwidth on the regulatory pieces. Do we even want to ask that question? I think because we don't want to. I'm hearing we don't want to be in power struggles with children. That's
But I'm
what
also
hearing.
curious with the lunch piece, because I agree that some students really need it. I also think there are plenty of students who maybe would benefit from human-to-human connection, but have this as an easy crutch to avoid.
Yeah.
And so that's my concern, is how do we balance that? Like, there is a reason that time was included, and why the research shows that it's beneficial for students to have policies like this in place as a whole, obviously knowing that there are exceptions. So how do we kind of walk that line with our students?
Also,
Yeah, I
And I
agree.
think
And
Rich,
I'll
sorry, has
just
been waiting.
jump in. So I feel like this if this is going to be successful, it's a continuation of building on of what we've started. It's not upsetting the apple cart, right? The people in our buildings have done a great job with the culture, with getting this part of everyone's mindset, that you're not going to be on your phone, not going to let it interfere with academics. I see both sides of the lunchroom discussion. I mean, I love the idea of kids talking to each other more in the cafeteria. That's great. Sure. But you don't want that power struggle, right? So I hear all these concerns. I hope that because it's new, because the state level enforcement it seems to be lacking, we'll be able to inject enough permitted flexibility into the policy that we're not really upsetting what we've already
I
started.
also think in terms of seniors, even if you're thinking about it like equitable, so let's say you can leave for lunch and use your phone. So what if you're stuck here because you don't have a car?
No,
You can't use your cell phone, but you can all go out to lunch. It's just, yeah. I mean, it looks very different in middle school as opposed to high school as well.
So we have a few months to grapple with this. I know that there'll be Q&As from the state, from our representatives from local unions.
I like your confidence in that.
Well, I'm an optimist too, Erica.
Okay, good.
So stay tuned on that, and how we communicate it, like Brian was saying, I think is critically important. When that occurs, and I know Lindsay's over there taking notes and reflecting on the best way to do that with us. So thank you.
Okay. We also just have in here, it is in public contact. We did have a retreat, gosh, feels like 100 years ago, but it was just like 2 weeks ago. I think it was
like a month.
And we started working on our core beliefs and definitions and just our vision, mission, and goals as a board in preparation for the upcoming school year already. Which
this is H on the agenda.
We passed that budget, we get going.
Yeah,
we did.
So every year, the board, does discuss this, and we talk about if there's any changes that we want to see happen, and then we'll, approve it at a later date. But we did just want to revisit it and take a look at it briefly tonight. I don't know if anyone has any other comments. I don't think there were any drastic changes, but just, as we see how the year pans out and what we've had specifically with goals, it's nice to reflect and see, what did we accomplish? What are we moving towards? It is up there now. Yep. So anyone else care to comment?
I thought it was a really great discussion at our retreat, particularly the focus on the mission, really bringing that academic piece to the top and kind of building outwards to the staff, to the buildings, to our families and communities. I hope it sets the stage nicely for the leadership retreat in July. So we should have these passing in June, right? Mm-hmm. And then we'll dive into our core beliefs over the summer just to refresh those. Yeah. Are we missing an Oxford gum?
It's always good to reflect because it's easy to get caught up in the details when you're in it.
Yes. I just have commentary on the Oxford comma, but we'll talk about that later. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's Lindsay Redding. She's deleting them on us.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Any other, are we good?
Again, this is incredibly important for our team as we plan for the summer and plan for the 25-26 school year. So thank you for making it a priority.
Yeah, it was a good conversation. Thank you.
Okay, so up next, I need a motion that the board accepts the 2023-24 internal audit report as attached. Brian?
Second.
Lisa, any discussion?
We had the audit and finance meeting Thursday? No, Monday. Monday at 8 a.m.
That's why you
Mr. Nardone is new here and didn't realize. No, it was great. It's always great to do these audits because it really gives us a chance to look at an area of choosing in terms of like what exists in the district that you really want a fresh set of eyes on. And they had come up with the plan to look at new hires and terminations, so the processes and practices, and make sure it's aligned and it's following. And it was fascinating because the only thing that was wrong was a 1 on an I-9 looked like a 7. And that was the finding. So that shows how thorough it was and how in-depth it was, but that how tight the process was. Because the process isn't just HR's office. It's in payroll, it's in technology, it's in all of those different aspects when somebody's onboarded and then, is the correct word offboarded? Offboarded. Sounds piratey. So, but it was a great discussion and I appreciate everybody's work on this. Okay, any other thoughts? Okay.
Just being on this committee for 3 years, I don't know if people understand how just up close and personal every aspect of our financial health is scrutinized and looked at and checked. So it can't be, I don't think it can be overstated.
It's a thing. You're right.
It,
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye, 7-0. Next, I need a motion that the board approves the corrective action plan for the 2023-24 internal audit report as attached. Mary Caitlin mentioned, I guess, working on writing your numbers correctly. I'm teasing.
No, that was really the finding.
Oh, Nicole, Brian.
Just really quick, just on that point that Jen just made, I think we laugh at the corrective action on this, but showing the seriousness that this was, such a small mistake, but that the team, and we take it seriously, that we put a plan in place about something this small. It's just, again, that reassurance of how good the processes are and how thorough we are as a district in this. It's awesome to see.
I agree. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye, 7-0. Which leads us to personnel. So I need a motion to approve the attached tenure appointments as recommended by the superintendent of schools. Lisa? Second. Nicole? All in favor? Aye, 7-0.
We'll look forward to celebrating and adding closure to this in October, as we do every year. Congratulations.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Wow. Let's see here. I need a motion to approve the following instructional staff actions as recommended by the superintendent of schools.
So moved.
Rich? Nicole? Again, happy that we are looking good for the upcoming school year with our hires, so.
Yeah.
Nice job, Doug. All in favor? Aye. Aye, 7-0. I need a motion to approve the non-instructional and civil service staff actions as recommended by the superintendent of schools.
So moved.
Mary Caitlin?
Second.
Brian? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
On this particular non-instructional and civil service, Peter Marini, head mechanic for transportation for many years, has prioritized the health, safety, and welfare of our children, always receiving exemplar ratings from State Department of Transportation. He is on here for December 30th retirement.
You will be missed.
I
Can
know.
we go with a no?
I know. We do have a little extra time, right? It's not the end of the school year, so.
We have some time.
Yeah, which is good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 7-0. I need a motion to approve, sorry, the following athletic staff actions as recommended by the superintendent of schools.
So moved.
Rich? Jan? Again, thanks for keeping things moving. All in favor? Aye, 7-0. I need a motion to approve the updated benefit contract of the managerial administrative personnel for the 2024-25 school year as attached. Lisa?
Second.
Or Caitlin? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 7-0. I need a motion to approve the attached memorandum of agreements as recommended by the superintendent of schools. Nicole?
Second.
Brian? All in favor? Aye, 7-0. which leads us to the consent calendar. I need a motion to approve the consent calendar. Brian, Jan, all in favor?
Aye.
7-0. I need a motion to enter executive session for matters pertaining to the below stated information.
So moved.
Brian,
Second.
Mary Caitlin, all in favor? Aye. If you're joining from home, we will be entering an executive session, which means we won't be live streaming. We'll only reconvene to adjourn, so you will not be missing anything exciting. Have a great night.